You think your dog simply lies down, closes his eyes, and sleeps through the night, just like you do? What if I told you that while you're deep in sleep, he might spend hours watching you in silence, his eyes fixed on your face, as if he's guarding a secret only he knows? It sounds like a scene from a horror movie, but it isn't. It's science. It's behavior. It's canine love working in a way that most owners never stop to understand, and that after today, you will never be able to ignore again. The truth is that your dog's world doesn't stop when the lights go out. On the contrary, the middle of the night is one of the most revealing moments of your pet's emotional life. It's in that silence that behaviors linked to attachment, anxiety, the protective instinct, and even something that many specialists already call longing appear. Yes, dogs feel longing even for someone who is sleeping right beside them. Have you ever experienced this without knowing it? Every suppressed bark in the middle of the night, every little circle he walks around the room before lying down, every time he chooses to sleep pressed against your feet instead of using the comfortable bed you bought him, none of that is random. There is a language behind each one of those gestures, and that language speaks directly to the emotional bond he has built with you. What you are about to discover may surprise you, and perhaps even move you, because when we begin to understand what happens on the other side of consciousness, during those hours when we are completely vulnerable and surrendered to sleep, we realize that our dog is, in his own way, taking care of us, monitoring our breathing, reacting to any strange noise, keeping watch without having been given any order to do so. Is that instinct? Yes, but it is also affection. It is also a choice, and the boundary between those two worlds is far thinner than we imagine. Stay with me until the end, because throughout this video you are going to understand nighttime behaviors that never made sense before, and you will leave here looking at your dog with different eyes. We are going to talk about the signals he gives while you sleep, what each one of them reveals about his emotional state, and what that says, in practice, about the quality of the relationship between the two of you. Because having a dog is not just about giving food, taking him for walks, and making sure his vaccines are up to date. It is also about learning to listen to what he communicates in the moments when words, human or canine, simply do not exist. And the night, my friend, is where that communication happens in the purest and most honest way possible. So, before you go to sleep tonight, you are going to want to know what really happens when your eyes close. You know what is curious? Most people who made it this far into this video already have a story, a memory of a night when they woke up and saw their dog staring at them in the dark. That strange moment, a little scary, a little inexplicable, that they ended up dismissing as just something animals do. But now that we are opening this window together, maybe that scene makes a little more sense. And that is exactly why I need to ask you something right now. Stop for a second and go to the comments. Tell me and tell this entire community that is here with you, what was the nighttime behavior of your dog that left the biggest impression on you? It could be that bark in the middle of the night with no apparent reason. It could be the way he always chooses the same corner of the room. It could be that look you cannot explain, but feel means something. Write it down below, because when you share that, you are not just venting. You are helping another owner notice something they may not have seen in their own dog yet. That exchange is real. That impact is real. And if this video has already made you stop and think, has already made you look at your dog differently, hit the like button now. It is not just a click. That gesture tells YouTube that this kind of content matters, that it needs to reach more screens, more homes, more people who truly love their dogs. It may seem small, but think about it. Every like makes this video appear to an owner who might be confusing canine anxiety with bad behavior, who might be ignoring signs of attachment without knowing what they are missing. In the end, more dogs live better lives because someone, you, clicked a button. So be part of that. Hit the like and help this message get where it needs to go. Now, if you have made it this far, I need to be honest with you about something. This is not an isolated video. Everything you are learning right now is just the surface of a universe of signals, emotions, and behaviors that your dog displays every single day, and that most people simply were never taught to recognize. That is why this channel exists. If you love your dog and want to understand what he truly feels, what he tries to communicate, what lies behind every gesture, every posture, every look, this channel was made for you. Every video here is a new layer of that conversation, a new way to strengthen the bond with someone who trusts you completely, without reservation, without conditions. Subscribe now, because whoever truly begins to understand their dog never looks at him the same way again. And that is the kind of transformation that has no going back. And that is worth every second. All right? Then now that we have established that connection, it is time to truly dive into what happens on the other side of the night, the silent guardian. There is a behavior that happens every night in millions of homes, and that almost no owner ever sees because they are asleep when it happens. Your dog stops, gets up, walks to the edge of the bed, and stays there in silence, watching you breathe. It is not frightening. It is love. It is responsibility. It is a bond so deep it goes far beyond what we usually imagine when we think about the relationship between a human and a dog. Dogs are social animals at the most essential level of their nature. They were not made to live alone. They were shaped over thousands of years to exist in groups, to look after one another, to keep the pack safe. And do you know who your dog's pack is? You, your family, the people who sleep in that house. Now I want to show you something that completely changes the way you see all of this. When your dog gets up in the middle of the night and goes to your room just to check that you are okay, he is not suffering from insomnia. He is fulfilling a role he chose for himself. He is being the watchman, the guardian, the silent sentinel of the one he loves most in the world. Some dogs sleep pointed in the direction of their owner. Others position themselves strategically between the bed and the door. It is not a coincidence. It is the protective instinct translated into physical posture. It is the hidden truth behind a gesture we always thought was cute but never truly understood. For many dogs, you are literally their reference point for safety in the world. That is not an exaggeration. It is documented behavior. It is real emotion. It is a journey of trust that he began the moment he decided you were his person. Comment below. I am my dog's whole world. The secret signs of nighttime anxiety. But not everything that happens at night is protection. Not everything is a beautiful bond and a look full of affection. There is another side to this story, quieter, harder to see, and one that deserves your full attention. Some dogs spend the entire night suffering, and the problem is that this suffering rarely makes noise. It is not the desperate barking you might imagine. It is the invisible backstage of an anxiety that builds up in silence. It is the dog that gets up, lies down, gets up again, that sighs deeply in the dark, that walks from room to room with no apparent destination, that stands in front of the door, sniffing the hallway, as if waiting for something it cannot name, that licks its paws repeatedly until you no longer even notice, because it has become part of the nightly backdrop of the house. These are real signs of emotional anxiety, and most owners never connect the dots, because during the day, the dog seems fine, seems calm, seems balanced. It is at night, when the world goes quiet, that the emotions he held in all day finally surface. The shift in a dog's nighttime behavior almost always has an origin. Sometimes it is a change in routine that seemed small to you, but was enormous for him. A new job with different hours, a trip, a period of stress at home that he absorbed without anyone noticing, because dogs are emotional sponges, and the environment you live inside is also the environment he breathes. Now I want to show you something that completely changes the way you see all of this. Nighttime hypervigilance, which is when the dog cannot truly relax and stays in a state of alertness, even without any real threat, is one of the most underestimated forms of canine suffering. It does not scream, it whispers, and precisely because of that, it lasts longer than it should. Comment below, my dog has that sign. What your dog's dreams reveal. And speaking of emotions that surface at night, there is one specific moment that happens while your dog sleeps. That is perhaps the most beautiful and revealing of all. Have you ever watched your dog sleeping deeply and suddenly seen his little paws start to move? A soft whimper escape, a muffled bark, almost a whisper, his breathing speed up for a few seconds for no apparent reason? He is dreaming, and what he dreams says far more about his emotional life than any other behavior you have ever observed. Dogs go through the REM phase of sleep, the same phase in which humans have their most vivid and intense dreams. During this stage, the brain processes experiences, consolidates memories, and works through emotions that were stored throughout the day. It is the internal journey of the nervous system trying to organize everything that was felt, lived, and absorbed in the hours before. And now comes the revelation that changes everything. Studies suggest that dogs may dream about their owners. That is not romanticism, it is neuroscience. The canine brain, during deep sleep, revisits faces, smells, situations, and the people who are most present in their lives naturally appear in that process. So maybe that little tail wagging while he sleeps is not random. Maybe he is reliving yesterday's walk, that moment on the couch, that game of fetch in the late afternoon. Maybe you are there, inside his dream, without knowing it. The emotional impact you have on your dog's life goes far beyond what you see when you are awake. He carries you, in his instincts, in his decisions, in his dreams. Comment below, I am in his dreams too. The protective instinct. And if the dreams reveal what he feels on the inside, what his body does while he sleeps reveals something equally powerful, an instinct so ancient that no generation of domestic life has been able to erase it. Have you ever noticed where your dog chooses to sleep? Not the bed you placed in the corner of the room, the spot he chose on his own. Many dogs position themselves strategically near the door. Others lie facing the hallway, with their back to the wall, with an open field of vision to the surrounding space. That is not coincidence, and it is not fussiness. It is an ancestral behavior of pack protection operating in real time, inside your house, every single night. Even while sleeping, many dogs remain alert because, in their minds, protecting you is a mission. A faint noise from outside, and he already lifts his head. An unfamiliar step in the hallway, and his entire body shifts position. He is not afraid. He is on duty. There are dogs that only fully relax once they have confirmed that their owner is safe, that do one last round of the room before lying down, that check on every person in the house before truly closing their eyes. That is the hidden truth behind a behavior we always interpreted as restlessness or difficulty sleeping. Now I want to show you something that completely changes the way you see all of this. There is an important line between healthy protection, that natural and beautiful instinct, and excessive alertness that turns into suffering. When the vigilance never switches off, when he cannot truly rest because he is in a constant state of tension, then the instinct stops being strength and becomes a symptom. And recognizing that difference is one of the most important decisions you can make for your dog's emotional health. Comment below. My dog is my bodyguard. What to do so your dog sleeps happier? Recognizing all of this is the first step, but the real journey begins when you decide to act on what you have learned. The good news is that small changes in the nighttime routine have an enormous impact on your dog's emotional state. We are not talking about radical transformations. We are talking about simple, consistent decisions that create something every dog needs more than any toy or treat: predictability. Emotionally secure dogs sleep better. That is not an opinion. It is observable behavior. When the environment is stable, when the routine is clear, when he knows what to expect, the nervous system truly relaxes, the body rests, the mind processes, and the dreams, those you already know exist, become lighter. Start with the evening walk. A light walk before bed is not just energy expenditure, it is a signal. It is your body telling him that the day is over, that everything is okay, that now it is time to rest. Avoid scolding or tense situations in the hours leading up to sleep. The emotional state he goes to bed with is the emotional state he carries through the night. Keep the environment predictable, same schedules, same rituals, same energy, and use affectionate contact in a balanced way. A gentle touch before bed communicates security without creating excessive dependence. Now I want to show you something that completely changes the way you see all of this. Your dog's sleep is a mirror. What appears in it, the restlessness, the vigilance, the dreams, the chosen position, reveals with precision how safe he feels in the world you have built for him. While you sleep, your dog continues to show love in silent ways that almost nobody notices. And now you notice. Comment below. I am going to take better care of his sleep. And if you made it this far, I need to tell you something. This was not by accident. You are not the type of person who treats a dog like a decorative object. You are the type of person who wants to understand, who wants to truly be present, who realizes that the relationship with an animal goes far beyond the basics, and that every behavior, every look, every silent gesture carries a meaning that deserves attention. Now I want to hear from you. Does your dog do any of the things we talked about here? Does he watch you while you sleep? Does he have that nighttime restlessness nobody understands? Does he choose a strategic corner before closing his eyes? Tell me in the comments, because each behavior can have a different meaning. When you share, you also help other people better understand their own dogs. And I read everything, truly. So, I can bring videos that are closer and closer to your reality. Write it down below. I really want to hear your story. And if this video made you notice something new about your dog, hit the like button now. That shows YouTube that this kind of content needs to reach more people who love their dogs. It may seem simple, but that gesture helps other owners notice things they might be overlooking without realizing it. In the end, more dogs live better lives because of it. So hit the like and be part of that. If you love your dog and want to keep understanding what he truly feels, this channel was made for you. Here you will discover signals that most people ignore every single day. Every video is a new way to strengthen the bond with someone who trusts you completely. If that makes sense to you, subscribe now, because whoever truly understands their dog never looks at him the same way again. And there is a video right over here that complements everything we covered today. Click it and keep going with me over there. See you soon.